If you ask someone to picture Nebraska, you usually get the same image: a flat highway cutting through miles of cornfields. It's the ultimate American flyover state. But that rolling green horizon is a mask. It's a thin lid sitting on top of a shifting fossil desert and a high-pressure subterranean ocean. Hidden just out of sight are alien rock spires, invisible rivers, and prehistoric ecosystems flash-frozen by volcanic ash. It raises a question: how does one state support such contradictory geological systems within a single, flat border? Look closely at the sandhills. This 20,000 square mile region is a fossil desert. The shapes you see here aren't typical hills. They are massive, dormant sand dunes locked in place by a thin layer of grass. Even with all that loose sand, this environment holds over 1,500 lakes and wetlands. Here is the Ogallala Aquifer. Sitting directly beneath porous sand, it forces groundwater upward to pool into surface lakes. If this pressurized underground system vanished, the vegetation would die. Without roots to lock the soil, the region reverts to a dry, wind-blown wasteland. The sand that does remain loose manages to create its own phenomena. Under specific conditions, grains sliding down the dune faces vibrate together, producing a low, humming music that rolls across the prairie. There are also trees where they shouldn't be. In the early 1900s, workers manually planted 20,000 acres of pine seedlings directly into the loose sand, creating the Halsey National Forest. The sandhills function as a massive water reservoir and home to one of the largest hand-planted woodlands on the continent. The shape of the land refuses to stay flat either. In the northwest, the horizon suddenly splits wide open, dropping away into rugged canyonlands that look like they belong in the high Rockies. Walk into Toadstool Geologic Park, and you'll find heavy slabs of sandstone balancing on narrow clay pedestals. These shapes exist because the soft clay underneath erodes much faster than the hard rock caps, letting the wind and rain sculpt the dirt into these fragile-looking monuments. Then there are the Mima Mounds. These are thousands of perfectly circular earth domes spaced out in repeating geometric patterns across the plains. This map illustrates the mystery. The spacing and artificial-looking circular shapes are natural, yet after a century of modeling, science still has no consensus on how they formed. Nebraska's topography is a collection of unexplained mounds and natural sculptures that contradict the image of a featureless horizon. The plumbing of the state is equally unusual. The Dismal River is invisible for much of its journey, flowing silently as groundwater right through the porous sand. When it finally boils to the surface, it rises with such upward force it creates reverse quicksand, preventing objects from sinking into the riverbed. To the east, in Omaha, the land looks like a standard, flatly built modern cityscape, but this wireframe reveals a subterranean secret. Those modern skyscrapers float directly above a network of 300-foot Ice Age canyons. Massive meltwater rivers carved these valleys long before the modern Missouri River existed. Over time, they filled with sediment and vanished. Modern human civilization here is literally built on top of a forgotten, subterranean Ice Age landscape. If you look at the dirt itself, you'll find that this quiet farmland contains a violent prehistoric record. At Ashfall fossil beds, prehistoric herds were buried alive by massive clouds of ash from a supervolcano eruption hundreds of miles away. The fallout preserved ancient rhinos, three-toed horses, and camels intact, leaving them frozen in their death poses. Beneath the topsoil lies one of the most complete preserved records of mammal evolution on Earth. When you look out over those rolling green plains again, the scenery changes. You realize the grass is just a lid. This quiet corner of the Midwest is masking subterranean reservoirs, singing deserts, volcanic fallout, and ancient buried rivers. Geographical wonders aren't always massive peaks towering over the horizon. Sometimes the most mind-bending mysteries are the ones right beneath your feet.